Hello all my Merry Makers. Welcome to another Merry Making Monday. I am Becca. Merry Making Mondays are all about tutorials, me showing you how to make something, usually knit or crochet related. And lately I've been bouncing between two different patterns, one knit, one crochet, so that if you are not a person who does both, you're not just left in the dust. This week we are doing the brioche knit pattern from Yarnspirations. I do have permission from Yarnspirations to do this tutorial as long as I credit them. And I will be including a link in my description box below. I am hoping to do rows 3, 4, 5, and 6 today. Alright, so grab your knitting needles and let's get started. So if you're familiar with my oolong tea-shawl crochet along, I've been using something like this to help me with the editing process. It's a lot easier for me to read when I'm in my editing software than me to try to peek at a ring to see where I'm at. So this is going to be my row counter. Of course you can use whatever you're going to use. And then, just as a reminder, this is the pattern number. You can either search it by that or by Brioche Cable Knit Hat. Alright? Another thing I am doing, because I am trying to follow this pattern as well as I can, is I am doing a mark by every time I knit with a color so that I know when to switch. So we are on row 3. We've already done 2 rows with round A. The first round was the setup round, and then the second round was the technical first round of the pattern. Alright, so let's start with row 3. Actually, it looks like I ended right before row 3. Don't know why I did that. Maybe it was to show you how to transition better. So we'll go ahead and do that. So I'm technically still on row 2 here. So I'm purling. Got my yarn in front, and I'm purling, or I'm slipping the yarn, wrapping the yarn around, purling these two together, which is what the pattern says to do. Yarn in front, slip the yarn, yarn around the needle, purl 2 together. Alright, so row 3 is actually quite simple. It is what is known as a standard brioche knit row, but I will still walk you through the first couple of stitches. So you are, if you are following the pattern like I am, you're going to be knitting with whatever color A is, and it reads knit 2 together, bring the yarn front, slip the yarn, bring the yarn back, and just repeat that all around. So knit 2 together, yarn front, slip the stitch, and be ready to purl 2, or sorry, knit 2 together. And you're going to do that all the way around to your stitch marker. I'll meet you there. Alright, so here we are at the beginning of round 4, and before I even start on round 4, since I'm following the pattern, I'm putting a little tick mark by A, and then what the pattern states is every even row is the same unless otherwise noted. So, just as a reminder, you're going to be working with the other color, what is considered your main color for this pattern, and your yarn is going to live up front. You're going to purl, or you're going to slip the first stitch, bring the yarn front, purl 2 together. Bring the yarn front, slip the stitch, bring it front, purl 2 together. And I'm explaining it as the pattern reads so that you don't get confused. You're going to do that all the way around until you get to your stitch, your beginning of round marker. I'll meet you there. Alright, so this is take 2. I made a little bit of a mistake when I was first recording row 5, and that should kind of try to tell you that this row is kind of a hassle. Alright, so we start with the brioche double decrease. Now if you remember, you're moving both these stitches, which consist of 3 loops, at the same time knitwise. Then you knit the next stitch 2 together. Then you bring these 3 stitches back. Then with yarn in front, you slip the next stitch. Then it reads that in the next 2 stitches, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit. So what that looks like, remember it's talking about these 2 loops. Knit 2 together, yarn over, knit again, and then the next stitch you slip with the yarn in front. Then you knit 2 together and slip with the yarn in front 4 times. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. And then don't forget to slip with the yarn in front on that last one. Alright, and then again, start with the brioche double decrease. You're slipping these 3 loops or 2 stitches, whichever way you like to think of it, all at the same time knitwise. Knit the next stitch. Then you pass these 3 loops back over that 1 stitch. Bring the yarn front, slip the next stitch with the yarn in front. And then you've got your increase where you knit 2 together, yarn over, knit again. Bring your yarn front, slip purlwise with the yarn in front. Then knit 2 together, slip with yarn in front 4 times. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. And you're going to do that a couple more times until you reach your beginning of round marker. I'll meet you there. Alright. So one of the mistakes I made previously was I did not keep my count consistent. So I just want to make sure that when you're doing this, that you keep your count consistent. Alright, we're about to do row number 6, which is an even row, which means it's purls, and it's one of the purl rows that is different. Okay? So, alright. So the first thing you do is with yarn in front, slip the first stitch. Purl these 2 together. That's not anything different than normal. Then, slip with yarn in front, slip. You purl this lone stitch by itself, and then with yarn front, you slip again. And then you purl 2 together. And that is the repeat. So, purl 2 together, yarn front, slip until you reach the cluster of 3, which I want to show you again. Don't forget to bring that yarn front after you slip that stitch. Alright, here's that 3 cluster. So, slip with the yarn in front, bring the yarn around, purl that single stitch, slip the next stitch with yarn in front, and then we go back to purling the 2 stitches together. And you're going to do that all the way around. Alright, here we are coming in to the end of round 6. Don't forget to purl these 2 together. And after I purl it, I don't know if I've mentioned this before, I like to give a little tug on the end of the yarn so that it helps cinch it up. Alright, and this is vaguely about how your hat should look at the end of row 6. Now, I think I mentioned it, did have some difficulties myself with, you know, doing this off camera. So that is why we're keeping it low and slow here. Because even though I've already done this pattern twice, you know, you can still make mistakes even if you're familiar with a pattern. So just join me next time, which will be on the 28th, and we'll start going a little bit faster now that we've covered all the stitches that will be used in this pattern. Alright, until then, my merry makers, make what makes you merry. Ciao.